and carbon, which when both is in unison with each other, creates what is called electricity. If you've ever been an engineer, you know that carbon and copper is electricity. It's energy. Science has proven that whenever, not me, not Osei Kufuor, but science, this is something you'll be able to go back and look at. Science has proven that whenever an inferior is crossed or genetically engineered with the dominant initiates as the successor, which is us, which means that the melanated or carbon producer is the enabler of the manifested life within the inferior being. The white man's sperm cells are ineffective today due to the vibrational frequencies of the sun dispersed into the environment, causing his sperm to lay dormant and dehydrated, making the egg unsuccessful in rooting itself in the uterine wall of his white counterpart. Extinction? Somebody say that? In order for the egg to hold in the white woman, there must be a dominant form of carbon and copper, which you will find in the black man's sperm cells. Do we not see the interracial coupling and race mixing out of HAARP in America? Let me get that next slide, brother, because it's about to get good. See, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a premise, and I'm going to show you that the medications that our children is taking is an experiment to make their sperm cells become inferior, so by the time they get of age, if they come across a white woman, it'll help it'll strengthen, the sperm will help to strengthen that uterine wall to hold that egg, because they know they're becoming extinct. All right? They think a million times ahead of us, trust me. They know what they're doing. So you got to know what you're doing. Micro antennas of mercury and aluminum. Did you know that there is micro antennas of mercury and aluminum, which is found in your water, toothpaste, and deodorant? This is why when you eat meat, see, people say, well, what am I going to use then if I stop using deodorant? It's the meat that you eat that make you stink. It's the GMO. It's something that's called corexin, C-O-R-E-X-I-N. And it puts an odor off. So when you eat this stuff, it don't break down, it sets in your body. It's like taking a trash bag and sitting it in your kitchen. It's going to eventually start to stink. But if you eat everything that's high in alkaline, your body will not put off a lot of pollution. It's just like with alcohol. When you drink alcohol, a lot of alcohol, it comes through the pores. Same thing for the food, it comes through the pores. If it's not natural to the body or conducive to the electrons, then it starts to come through the pores. All right? A micro antenna transmits messages by way of frequency sound waves to a person without anyone else being able to hear it, including you. Mercury causes aggressiveness in a person, which also initiates hyperactivity. Then they create a counteracting mechanism to detract the hyperactivity, which also is mercury, but they use the alkaline and the melanin that you produce to slow you down after you have added the chemicals to that melanin. So they're using your own DNA against yourself. They can make you be active, and then make something that'll calm you down, but cause a negative chemical imbalance within your frequencies and your equilibrium. ADHD does not exist. Our black boys are being diagnosed with natural behavior. It is a natural behavior, and the behavioral control manifests forced by chemicals in the foods, water, and other products made by the United States to benefit financially. Next slide. HAARP, which is High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project. Y'all ever heard of HAARP? Yeah? Okay, we're going to get into it. There is a HAARP system in America that has a base which consists of 180 antennas that is jointly managed and controlled by the U.S. Air Force and the U.S. Navy, and is based in Gacona, Alaska. I told y'all that the last time. It is designed to understand, simulate, and control ionic spirit processes that might alter the performance of communication and surveillance systems. The HAARP system distributes 3.6 gigawatts of effective radiated power of high frequency radio energy into the ionosphere, which alters and heats up the atmosphere, which then gives them authority to cause controlled earthquakes, floods, tsunamis, and population, psychologically and bodily diseases by way of negative electromagnetic frequencies. So it's mind control. Next slide. Disease is none other than low vibratory frequencies inserted into your foods and so-called medications. They can insert disease vibrational frequency messages that when you eat it, it goes down into your body and attacks you. This is a form of communication that you can't hear. Just like we talking to each other, that's a form of communication. Sign language is a form of communication. Foods also has its own form of communication. So when you digest it, that you agreeing to it. See, everything has a law behind it. Your body digests, that's a law, it has to digest. But what it's saying when it digests is, I agree to whatever is in my system. So therefore, now you agree to take up all the elements that's put into the food, or the communication or contract that's going into your body throughout the food. A disease signature, hold on, what was that? Okay. The psychics and engineering behind electromagnetic disease transmission are frightening. Diseases can be reproduced as disease signatures. And that vibration of a disease can be manufactured and sent on to be artificially induced. The brainwave pattern of hallucinogenic drugs can also be copied and sent by ELF waves to induce visions. They can put cloning signatures in your food and cause a double dose of impact against your cells or your organs. Okay? A disease signature is created by vibratory sound waves, which we know as GMO, that is inserted into the foods and digested into the body, then attacking the cells and organs to initiate certain elements in the body. Bad foods equals low frequency. Good foods equals high frequency. So if you eat food that has a pH of 6.5 or above, you're dealing with high frequency. You're placing that body in an alkaline state. You understand what I'm saying? Just like I said earlier, you can't eat the processed foods, the genetically modified organisms. These are living things that communicate with your body. These sound waves that they're sending out, you may wake up one day and wonder why you got cancer. See? We're in a laboratory. Next slide, brother. Estrogen is also in so-called ADHD medications. Estrogen is the female hormone produced by the ovaries. The estrogen hormones and the ADHD medication and fast food is altering the DNA of our children, causing homosexuality. The estrogen plus the mercury in these foods and medications alters the organisms which uses the cells to carry the ELFs, which is extremely low frequencies, to the receiver organs in the body, such as the pineal gland, or what is known as the third eye. See, this is what they're trying to attack. They're trying to attack Christ. See, when you read the Bible, there's nothing wrong with it, but you have to know how to read it. You have to be able to read it on a metaphysical level. They're attacking Christ, which is you, that third eye, your reality. They're trying to put it on that cross. You get what I'm saying? So, next slide. But they don't understand that that cross wasn't created by them. It was something that was metaphysically in us already, which is the four elements: water, air, earth, and fire. We got that in our DNA. They don't. They don't. This is their dimension. The third dimension is the physical dimension. It's the illusionary dimension. These people don't exist. But as long as they exist in your mind, they have that power over you to control you. I don't get too deep into politics, but I like to know what's going on around me. But I don't fall into it to the point where it's controlling me emotionally. Because this is how they control us with emotions. They know that black people are spiritual people, meaning that their frequencies is only emotional megahertz. So we have to be able to have self-control, mind control of ourselves. We are our own government. We are our own world. That's how we have to see ourselves. We are not divided. We are not divided. Because when you look outside of yourself, you see every single part of yourself. You are the sun. You are the moon. You are the stars. They have the same DNA you got. But there's some other people who live here that don't have that DNA. And the earth today is having an out-of-body experience. What do I mean by that? It's stepping outside of itself because somebody made a mistake. Something else that's connected to the universe made a mistake and created something that was hybrid or in opposition to the natural abilities and the natural entities that roam this earth. We are the aliens. We are the extraterrestrials. It's no spooky shit. We are. Study our DNA. You get what I'm saying? We are the extraterrestrials. They know about us. This is why they having UFO conferences. Why they having UFO conferences? It ain't got nothing to do with a wheel in the sky. They make you think that. Look, you think they're going to let you see something about a wheel being in the goddamn sky? No, it's about you when they go into these conferences. They call it junk DNA. They talk about junk DNA in these UFO conferences. It's junk DNA, but they need it. It's melanin. That's all it is. All right. Electromagnetic disease transmission, ELF, and chemtrails. Once viruses are sprayed into the air, electromagnetic waves attune to the disease using harmonics and subharmonics, which will make them more lethal and infectious by sending particular disease frequency death patterns into the genetic codes inside of the structural patterns in the frontal lobe of the brain. The frontal lobe of the brain is what connects to everything unseen, all of the unseen communication. At 3 a.m. in the morning, you have the dark matter, which is communicating with the atoms in the universe. And the atoms is 99.999 space, but the rest of it is energy. And energy doesn't die, it keeps evolving, it keeps moving. And also, when you're thinking a thought, you gotta understand that you're manifesting something that somebody else can pick up on, or somebody that's closer to you, whether they pick it up in their dream, which is our reality, or they pick it up physically beside you. That's why you have to watch the people you deal with. Because it's not only the food that's killing us, it's the people that we keep in our company that's killing us. They got low frequency. You don't want to be around a person who got, they always talk about negativity and all that stuff. Because that right there, you can get diabetes, high blood pressure, all of that stuff. It's not just from foods. You got a mental wound too, just like you have a physical. So whatever you take in that mental wound and you digest it, this is the frequencies that it's going to pick up. All right? Next slide. All right, go to the next slide. This goddamn cracker right here. Margaret Sanger and Hillary Clinton, which is a clone too. This is what Margaret Sanger said to all you black women. She said that you are a dysfunction to society, and we need to be depopulated. And she also said that she said, colored people are like human weeds and ought to be exterminated. And then Hillary Clinton was given an award that said that she admired Margaret Sanger enormously because of her courage, tenacity, and her vision. Was so courageous about what she said about that. So now you gotta watch her, because all the black people said, we want Hillary Clinton in office. For what? Do your background search. You want this woman in the office talking like that? Serious? Margaret Sanger, 1879 to 1966, was the founder of Planned Parenthood Federation of America and the International Planned Parenthood Federation. As an activist in the birth control and population control movements, she was one of the most influential figures of the 20th century. Sanger's obsession with eugenics and racism was clearly presented in her involvement of planning the first World Population Conference, which took place in Geneva in 1926. She was not mentioned on the actual program, but instead worked behind the scenes and initiated the Negro Project in 1939. The objective of the project was to infiltrate the black community by presenting birth control as a health option for women to kill off the black race and their babies. Kill them off by limiting the growth of the population by abortion and sterilization. They knew that some black folks would figure out their sinister plot, so it was decided by Sanger to take the plan to the clergy and charismatic members, the black communities, to have them deliver the message to their congregations. And guess what they take it to? The preachers, the black pastors, because they know who to go to whenever they need to get the people to start agreeing with their agenda. Because who are the pastors? People of God, right? So-called. Not to me. Where we at? In a letter to Dr. Clarence Gamble, Sanger stated, she said, we should hire 3 or 4 colored ministers, preferably with social service backgrounds and with engaging personalities. The most successful educational approach to the Negro is through a religious appeal. We don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. This is her talking like this. And the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members. And you notice that Sanger said the minister should be hired. There are many black ministers today who support abortion. Most of them still receive money from Planned Parenthood. Next slide. That's why they ain't gonna say a damn thing, because they get government grants. Look at this goddamn redneck cracker. Excuse my language, but that's what he is. You see a dog, you call it a dog. You see a cat, you call it a cat. That's a cracker. A saltine at that. Former President Bill Clinton is also in the same bloodline as Margaret Sanger, in which it explains why in 2009, Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton accepted the Margaret Sanger Planned Parenthood Award in her honor, and this is what she stated, quote, "I admire Margaret Sanger enormously, her courage, her tenacity, her vision. I'm really in awe of her. There are a lot of lessons we can learn from her life," unquote. Most people think that the biggest felony made by Bill Clinton might be that he swore falsely under oath in the Lewinsky affair. Uh-oh. I'm going to show y'all a real monster. Y'all think they gangsters? I'm going to show y'all something. But this is peanuts compared to the real crimes yet undetected by most American people. It was in Oxford as a student Clinton came to hear about the one world government for the first time and what was required to be a member of this new world order. In an interview in 1994, Clinton said that he'd known about the shadow government already in his youth and had been very enthusiastic to get an interest into the inner circle. And from there, he had the opportunity to participate in decisions regarding the future of the world. Next slide. We'll get to this. He succeeded the president maker, David Rockefeller, who was the top 10%. The international bankers, they run all governments. This is the shadow government we're talking about here. David Rockefeller met Clinton in the mid-'80s in Arkansas to prepare him for what was to come. The state of Arkansas, by the way, is a major seat for the Brotherhood elite. The South Branch of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry has its center here, and from this area, Albert Pike, a 33-degree Freemason, helped create the Knights of the Golden Circle, the infamous Ku Klux Klan. All your officials that sit in government are KKK with suits on. That's what they are. And when they finish having their meetings, the next day they go home, put their suits on, and go back to work. That's Larry Nichols right here, Bill Clinton's friend. That's a savage motherfucker right there. Come up, son, bro. I'll tell you about this guy. A good friend of Clinton from Arkansas, Larry Nichols, was interviewed in a fume. Clinton thought that Nichols would keep his mouth shut, but he didn't. He was hired by Clinton and had found out that Clinton's firm